Hello and welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for a new episode of A New Go of New Home Sales. I'm your host, Anya Chrisanthon, and joining me today is Dawn Turner. Dawn is the National Sales Director at realtor.com for new construction specifically. So welcome to the show, Dawn. I'm really excited for our conversation about lead generation today.
Thank you, Anya. What a great introduction. And I'm just as excited. So I'm ready to jump into it.
All right, so for those listeners who may not know who you are, why don't we start with getting to know you a little bit more? Tell us your life story and how did you get into new construction industry?
You mean liking pina coladas and getting caught in the rain, that kind of thing? Or you want to know
Exactly.
what business? No, my foray into new construction was actually, it started off in commercial real estate. So I was in commercial real estate for several years. And my first venture into home building was I brokered the land deals, and I would set up land brokers for large national builders to hold the property until they could get it entitled and then they could close on it. So I would find the land, bring it to the broker, negotiate with the builder, and put a contract together. And that was how I first got into it. And I did that in commercial real estate for several years, and then left when the market crashed really badly in 07, 08, 09, that whole time, which hurt us all pretty bad. And then came back to home building much later with LGI Homes as a sales manager for them in Southwest Florida and Cape Coral market. And then after that, ended up with Wade Journey Homes, which became Century Complete. Century Communities bought Wade Journey Homes and rebranded them, and it became Century Complete, and had a tremendous run with them. And then I got recruited to come here to realtor.com, and it's been an incredible run, almost 4 years. In another 6 weeks, it'll be 4 years. And it's just been such a blast. We started this channel with myself and Bob Seaman, who was our VP, and my colleague, my counterpart on the West Coast, the national sales director on the West Coast, Rick Baldonado. So the three of us started this channel here at realtor.com. We went live 3.5 years ago in March of 2021, selling to builders and working with builders and helping them with their marketing strategies online and their digital marketing campaigns. And it's been great. I've loved every second of it.
I can see why you were recruited to realtor.com. I'm sure it's great for them to have your background, specifically working with home builders, all the pain points, all the challenges that they experience, especially when it comes to generating leads. So, Don, why don't we start off by give us a little bit of an overview of the different services that you provide at realtor.com, specifically as it relates to new construction.
We've kept it really simple here. We know that there are other options out there, and there are so many different products that you as a builder can buy, but we've really narrowed it down, and we've been very effective in the services that we provide. We have our listing product, which is called Sales Builder, and that allows for the builders to send us their data feeds or manually upload their information from their website and their listings and their communities onto realtor.com, onto the landing page. And then any leads that are generated from that go directly back to the builder. There's no subscriptions. There's nothing like that. We bill in arrears based on performance. So a builder will never get charged if a community doesn't perform. So if they've received no leads, they'll pay no money for that community, even though it's on the landing page, even though the listings are there, even though eyeballs are seeing it, and people may be printing off the listing or saving it and sending it to the family and making a phone call. They pay nothing. They pay nothing. The lead still ends up going back to them. It's very effective. That business model has really worked well, especially when sales get tight, when the market gets tight and inventory gets tight. The builder's no longer required to pay a monthly subscription fee. They only pay for the leads they get. Our other services are obviously our media placements, which are the native ads, where a builder can buy advertising tiles on the landing page and post their communities or post any kind of specials they have going on, Facebook retargeting, all of the standard things. And then, of course, we've introduced something innovative just recently with our community spotlight advertising. So normally when you hit realtor.com or any of the other digital marketing partners that are out there that show homes for sale and show listings for sale, as you're scrolling through, they have all the static pictures that are there and images of the home or renderings of what the home looks like. What the community spotlight ad does is it creates a tile that is animated and it scrolls. It's automatically scrolling. So as you're scrolling through, you see this animated tile flashing from community to community. And that's a great way for builders to get their communities that they want some extra attention to, extra traffic, to really generate a lot of extra eyeballs on it and get high click-through rates. It's been very effective.
So it sounds like you're going almost in a direction of social media way where it's like you need something quick, catchy, gets your attention, swipe up, right?
That's such a great point, Anya, because we were having conversations when this was designed. We were having conversations about content. Like, what do people, when they're sitting in bed at night or on the couch and they're scrolling through, what's catching their eye? What are they stopping and looking at? And it's really content. So when you're scrolling through, and 70% of the traffic that we get, that all the digital marketing partners get, is from a mobile device. It's not from the PC as much as it is from a mobile device. So what are you going to do to help get their attention? And this has been an effective tool because it's just good content. It really stops you in your tracks and you really see something that catches your eye, and it's really helped with their click-through rates and their traffic producing.
Absolutely. I mean, we call it the house porn. Everybody loves house porn. I don't know the latest stats. Maybe you can share that with us. I know with Zillow, it was like a huge percentage of people who are actually searching on Zillow are not actually in the market. It's just they enjoy looking at the homes, and all of us do, right? That's the reason why I love to watch HGTV and the $1 Million Listings, because I like to fantasize that one day I'm going to be in this multi-million-dollar new construction home, and it's fun to look at. Don, with a recent slowdown in the market, what strategies do you see that are actually working when it comes to lead generation for home builders?
Well, as we were just talking about, content matters, and what is going to raise engagement level. And these numbers are out there. They're pretty public, from whether it's Zillow or from us or whomever. If you have interactive floor plans, or you have 3D tours, or you have content like that raises the engagement level, where someone can put themselves inside of the home, or see themselves inside of the home, see themselves using the home without ever having gone to the sales center, without ever having visited anyone, that is a game changer. We have seen numbers as high as 60 to 68% of lead generation being higher on listings with interactive floor plans, 3D tours, and that type of creative. That really raises the engagement level and really raises the lead count.
Yeah, we see that on our side as well. Even with market slowdown, we see that home builders have really embraced this idea of interactive content. And I mean, I am so lucky because I get like behind the curtain view of what's coming at a new go. And we've always been a leader in generating interactive content specifically, but now there's some really crazy stuff that's coming out, like even with our exterior color tool, it's all going photo real. So it's no longer kind of like, but it looks real. It looks amazing. And we see more and more home builders even embracing the idea of interactive virtual tours, where instead of just touring a generic home, which is already a great option to give them because it gives buyers something to do, we see that more and more builders want to show the different options that are available in a home, the popular color packages, and the popular selections, so that they can really personalize that home as they go. And instead of touring a generic version of the house, they're actually touring their home. And as you're saying, we see the lead conversion just goes through the roof when you do offer something interactive like that. And of course, they're spending more time on your website, and that typically tends to lead to higher sales. So I'm so glad to see that you're seeing the same thing.
Yeah, I'll tell you that one of the things that we've actually advised our builders on it, because we've seen it in practice, is if you're using renderings from that you just got just a couple years ago, that's not that old, just a couple years ago on your floor plans, and you've added new renderings, added new color palettes, or whatever the case is, they're not getting the page views. They're not getting the click-throughs. They're not getting the leads generated that a real photo will get, or an upgraded rendering that looks like a real photo. So as closest to that real photo as you can possibly get. If you have stock real photos of your models, of your actual product, that really stops people, and that really generates traffic. The renderings as well as they can be, as good as they can be sometimes, just don't have the same kind of engagement as the actual photos. It doesn't have the same effect. But so what you guys are doing is really innovative, and it's exciting to see.
Awesome. I'm glad we're on to something on the right path. So let's talk more about some of the techniques that may not be so great for attracting that customer. So you said outdated renderings. What
Yeah.
else are you seeing? What are some of the most common mistakes that you notice home builders make when it comes to lead generation?
Some of the common mistakes for lead generation, I'll tell you the biggest mistake that gets made is in a tight market when leads slow down and interest rates are higher, prices are higher, and things get a little tight. Some builders will choose to pull back advertising dollars or pull back marketing dollars when that is the time that you really reinvest in what you're doing. You already have the lots there. You already have the product there. You already have made the orders on the homes. You've already went through permitting. Pulling back those marketing dollars when those homes are still coming out of the ground is not the best timing. That is, it's a strategy that doesn't seem to work. And the builders that continue to reinvest or raise their spend during those times are the ones that have the biggest success in generating sales. And what's more important, closings. That's the most important part. Selling all these homes and getting them qualified is one thing, but getting them closed is a whole other ball game. And that really does make a difference. Of course, going back to the interactive floor plans and the content, if you don't have it, your engagement's so much lower. Your leads are so much lower. If you're using old stock photos or using old renderings or 2D floor plan images of what the house looks like, even though it's still good to be able to see where the bedrooms are located and the bathrooms and the laundry room and so forth and how big the garage is, if it's 3D or if it's interactive and you can walk through it or see yourself in it, the difference is 2 to 3-fold sometimes.
Absolutely. And I can imagine there's also a lot of uncertainty in the market right now, especially with interest rates. Okay, Fed just lowered their interest rates, but their interest rate actually went up. It's like, what the heck? And of course, we know that it's not necessarily tied to Fed rate, the mortgage rates, but for a lot of buyers, it's creating a lot of confusion. And so what's your take on showing a monthly payment as opposed to just showing the cost of the home, or even showing them what interest rate you have? Because I know a lot of builders are offering incentives when it comes to interest rates specifically. So what's your take on the price versus monthly cost?
I will tell you, this is such a great question. I'm so happy you asked this, Anya. You are on your game. I'm going to tell you that when it comes to our native ad placements and those community spotlight placements, the builders that have the highest click-through rate and generate the highest traffic in their copy on that advertisement, they'll have a payment. They'll have a payment. And if the payment's there, I'll tell you right now, the top 5 builders that we had last month in native ad placement, 4 out of the 5 had a payment listed in their copy, and they generated a tremendous amount of traffic. And it's really not that close. Their traffic and click-through rates versus the builders that weren't offering it, substantially different. We've, had conversations with other builders like, hey, this is some effective marketing. We're seeing very high click-through rates with this. Would you like to change your copy? Would you like to do this? And some builders have an issue with it because they can't get it through their legal department. They're with their ads and so forth, and they're not running it. So I think it's a very effective tool. On the listing side, not just the ad side, but on the listing side, you have to have a price. You don't have a price, no one's going to click on it. If you have a TBD price or call to find out what the price is, you just don't even waste your money. You're not going to generate traffic from it. Your ad will be there and it'll look like a billboard, but you're going to blaze right on by it.
Are people actually still doing that? Not showing the price?
Not as much anymore. I would tell you that our team's done a really good job. And I think teams from our competitors have done a much better job of this too, informing the builder that, hey, if it doesn't have a price, you're not going to get traffic on it. It's probably not sell anytime soon. You really need to get a price on it. Be transparent. You're out looking for something. You're out looking for something to buy. With your pricing furniture or clothes, whatever the case is, if you don't have a price tag on it, you're not going to get the traffic you want. What you want. Be transparent in your dealings. People want to know up front. They can make a decision. They can move forward, and then your sales teams get to do the job of saying what makes you guys so different, the quality of your home and your location and your amenities and so forth.
Yeah, transparency is so important. I feel like I've been talking to cows come home, or what's the expression? I don't know who comes home
Yeah.
early. Cows till they come home.
Or till I'm blue in the face.
Yeah, still blue in the face, but I feel like we have really been trying to share that message of transparency and building trust with your buyers. And if you think about it, it just makes sense, right? As a consumer yourself, would you click on something that does not have price? Would you call? Would you go an extra mile? No, you're probably not. If it's not there, you're moving on to the next thing. So when you think about your listings and then attracting your customers, Don, like you said, it's so important. Be straightforward, show the pricing, show as much as possible. Is there such a thing as showing too much in your opinion? Like, where is that line?
I don't really know any specifics that I would be too leery of, but some people can misinterpret some things. And if you don't have a good enough understanding as a consumer of how the building process works or how the finance process works, and things can be lost in translation, and you have to be really careful of that. So maybe in that sense, but I believe in just you just open the doors and you let everybody in and you let them see everything you can, especially in today's world. Social media plays such a big part. There are so many TikTok videos out there, Instagram videos from new home inspectors, or this didn't happen, or that didn't happen, or they told me this, or they misled me. You have to fight that stuff all the time. And one instance taken out of context or misunderstood or not well received can have massively adverse effects in a local market or nationwide if they're not careful. Be transparent, be a great communicator, over communicate, be involved, and understand that they're making a decision for their family's life, their lives. And that decision is now in your hands to help take them through. Be involved, give a damn, and be transparent. And I promise you, the experience in your closings and your customer satisfaction scores, they all go through the roof. That stuff matters.
Right, absolutely. I'm 100% agree with you. So Don, at realtor.com, I'm sure you guys see a ton of data just because, I mean, you're such a huge portal. So have you seen any shift recently in either buyer demographics or buyer preferences, specifically when it comes to new construction? I know for the longest time, we talked a lot about millennials, and millennials are finally starting to form households and getting married and all of that. So is that still the case, or what's going on?
Well, yeah, it absolutely is the case. Millennials are they're a big part of the market right now, but so are Gen Z, the next generation behind them. They're starting to buy homes. And that generation really has a preference to not want the same things that I want in a home or my generation wants in a home. They're okay with smaller and they're okay with saving money on that home, do more things and be out there and have different experiences. And I was looking for a home, or my parents were wanting to buy a home. It was for your family. That was it. That was your place, and you were going to live there for a long time. My parents still have the same place, 15 years old when they bought it. In our first home that we ever owned. They still live there today. But that's different now. The different generations are making different decisions. They want to be more mobile. They want to be more nomadic and do more things. No, I don't want to make a blanket statement for all of them because that's not the case. But when you look at the data and you look at the research, that seems to be where this is going. A smaller home's okay. Tighter knit communities, smaller lot lines, and things like that are really selling right now, and they're making a difference in the marketplace.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's why it's so important to keep track of all the data on your website, because oftentimes your customers will tell you what's trending, what are they interested in. We may have to shift with offering smaller floor plans and coming up with new product lines to make sure you're really accommodating what your buyers want. So speaking what buyers want, Don, what's your opinion of the role of technology when it comes to buyers' decision to purchase new construction? And when I say technology, technology in the home.
Yeah, so the smart homes obviously are a very exciting segment of what we're doing now. And as you can see, most builders have already adopted moving forward with more and more smart homes with your front doors not even needing a key anymore, with the ability to be able to be in your home at any time and order your groceries or set up reminders on digital calendars that are inside of your home, lights turning on when you're walking into the room and turning off when you're walking out. These things are part of our future. The more builders that are embracing them and can find a way to make them affordable to the masses are having much more success, because let's be honest, that stuff is cool. That's cool. You want to be able to have your mom and dad over, have your friends over, and go, look at this. You walk into the bathroom, the light turns on automatically. Go to the bathroom, you walk out, light turns off. You don't have to tell your kids, turn off the lights. You can set your AC remotely now. You can turn on your oven. You can do all these things remotely now. And your home's just so smart. You can set all these reminders up, and they're just cool. They're just cool. When we were kids, we watched the Jetsons and we thought, man, that stuff's so cool. Guess what? This is what that looks like. This is how it starts out, and where it's going to evolve to, and what it's going to look like in 20 years. The homes we live in now, you'll look back and go, what? Really? I mean, technology is evolving that fast. AI has really helped move the needle even faster than we thought. And it's exciting. It's a very exciting time.
I could not agree more with you. I just started watching this new show on Netflix. I forgot what it's called. It's with Bill Gates, and it's all about AI and what's coming next and how it's going to affect job markets and everything. And it's been fascinating. I'll link to it in the show. If you guys have Netflix, definitely worth checking out.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I will challenge home builders is, if you do offer smart home technology, think about ways to incorporate it into your marketing material, including your interactive. So we really haven't seen too many builders doing virtual tour that incorporates smart home technology in it. And there's such a great way that you can show that off and really separate yourself from the competition. So you're not just showing your standard finishes and
Yeah.
all this and that. Again, it's great, obviously, to show the standards and what you offer, but think about going beyond that. Think about the lifestyle and all of that, which smart home technology is certainly a big part of that. And so how can you tell a story of the home and how you're going to live in this home and what the smart technology is going to do for you in this home, whether it's hotspots with informational pop-ups videos that tell you the story, or other ways of incorporating that into a virtual tour. So definitely challenge for all of you guys there.
I always call it well, it's oh bad word, so I'll just say oh crap factor. When you're scrolling or you're looking at homes, or you're checking out the product, what what makes you go, oh crap, what is that? And you stop and you click on it and you immediately engage. What is that? Is that an animated tile? Is that a video instead of a static photo? Is that an interactive floor plan that shows someone walking through the front door of the elevation of the outside of the home? And is that what stops you? Is that what got your attention? Is that what raised awareness of your product? You can easily do that on your website. Sometimes the portals have a hard time ingesting that, and we're getting better. And I know our competition is getting better as well. So you can make it a little more interactive and a little more fun for the consumer, and raise their engagement level. But on your websites, you absolutely have to have it. It needs to be there. When you get them to your website, that should be the Taj Mahal. They should be wowed as soon as they hit that landing page, and they should be blown away. And you have a responsibility to provide that for them, because it's going to sell your home. It's going to make them excited. It's going to raise their excitement. When people are excited and they're happy to be there, they're going to make buying decisions.
100%, especially if you invested all this money into it, might as well show it
Oh,
off.
who knew?
Yes. So Don, I know you're not an economist, but I'm sure you guys have a lot of great trend data on realtor.com. So what do you guys expect as far as new construction market? How do you think it's going to evolve over the next, say, year to year and a half?
Good news came this week when the Fed cut interest rates even more. Now, we were seeing before that, we were seeing a steady drop week over week, pretty much, of interest rates, mortgage interest rates dropping precipitously every single week. And so that was really nice to watch it come down. The Fed helping out this week really is going to raise that awareness of thought they were going to hold out until interest rates dropped. This kind of news hitting the news cycle brings more folks back into the market that have told themselves, hey, I'm just gonna sit on the sidelines. I'm gonna wait for a while until rates change because I can't afford a home. You come back in. And now builders who have been running incentives on interest rate special, and people are seeing them. Builders that are offering incentives on flex cash or appliance packages or upgrades. More eyeballs get to see them now because of a national news cycle announcement with the Fed cutting the rate. So I see sales going up. I see there is inventory in the market. Now, this is just my opinion. I see that happening. Obviously, the big news story right now that hits us in the face every single day is the national election. And what are the outcomes of this national election? What does it mean for me and my family? How is it going to impact us? But with the news from the Fed this week, with what the builders are offering as far as incentives go, with the way they've got their pricing in line, according to the national data, right now, new construction homes take about 30% of all the listings that are listed across the country right now.
Wow, 30%, that's really impressive. And as much as I would love to give ourselves a pat on the back, say good job, builders, I think maybe it's just a lack of resale inventory at the moment but that's great. That's great news to hear that we're 30%. Let's cross our fingers that we have more of a soft landing, and hopefully we're in for a great hot market come January, especially. So I'd like to shift things over a little bit to talk about realtor relationships, because obviously there's been some major changes that affected the way home buyers are going to be compensating their buyer's agent as of this July. Don, I want to ask you, have you seen any significant changes in the way home builders are now working or partnering with realtors?
Significant ways, not significant, but I will tell you that home builders are really embracing their realtors. They are advertising on LinkedIn. They're advertising on their websites. They are going out there making the statements, we love our realtors. They're hosting realtor events. And even builders who in the past have been or may have been reluctant to embrace that much of it are starting to turn the corner. You're seeing a much higher level of engagement with the realtors that are out there. It's such a big segment of what we do in the real estate market. Realtors mean so much to the market, and we at realtor.com really value them, as you can imagine. And we think they're a big and important part of the market and the industry. And we are noticing that builders are really taking note of that as well.
That's great. So it seems that the changes are not affecting the realtor relationship significantly. Do you know if there's been some changes to the way builders compensate realtors? I imagine it's probably still so early on now. As we record this, it's the end of September. So it's probably, we're not going to see this data probably for a good year to really make a solid decision as to did rates go down? Are they still compensating them at the same rate? So have you heard any builders say that they're going to start paying less, or any sort of talk like that in the industry?
So first of all, that's a really good question. I want to go back and touch on something when I said significant. You're right. It's so early. There isn't really any data out there to be able to demonstrate how significant any changes have been. I could just tell you from anecdotally speaking with builders and what they're doing and seeing myself what's being listed online and advertised online, what they're doing. Has it changed the way builders are paying realtors or anything like that? I will tell you that builders experiment all the time. So I know builders in some markets, even national builders, that have dropped what they're paying realtors before the NAR settlement, dropped down to 1% or 0.5%, but then they put bonuses on house for realtors later on. So they're trying to find a medium to get to the margins they need to be at. So they're always experimenting, just like they experiment with advertising campaigns. What works? Is it a Google Max campaign? Is it realtor.com? Are we going to increase our spend there? Is it with this? Is it with interactive floor plans? What are we going to do differently marketing wise? They do the same thing on their accounts payable stuff. And what's a big accounts payable for them? It's their realtors, because realtors are bringing them in some markets as low as 30%, but in some markets as high as 94% have realtors. We spoke with several builders and we asked them what percentage of your sales are related to realtors? And some national builders told us as low as 55, 60%, and others have told us it's as high as 90 to 94%. And they work with the realtors. They try and figure out what works to help them get to the margins they need to get to in order to keep their business model moving forward. So have there been some builders that have dropped commission rates? Yes, absolutely. And have they had to change that and raise it back up when they start piling up inventory and they're not getting as many sales and they have to go back to that realtor pool? Sure, absolutely. And then other builders have gone the other way. They've doubled down and jumped all in, and they have raised their commission rates from the standard 2 to 3% to 4 and 5%, and sometimes even higher if the home is much, much older and they really need to get rid of it in a community that really needs some help. It's all over the board, and it's important for realtors to look, and it's important for consumers to look to see what's available out there. Know what's going to work for you, know what's going to help you out the most, and take advantage of it while it's out there.
Yeah. So Don, I know most new home sales, or at least it sounds like it's about half of new home sales probably represented by a realtor. I'm curious if you have any data when home buyers start to look for homes online and say they come to realtor.com and they start searching. Do we know what percentage of them is unrepresented by a realtor at that time? And in your opinion, as we start to become more digitally first society with AI and all of that's coming, do you think that there's going to be a higher percentage of home buyers who will say, you know what, I'm buying a new construction home. Do I really need a realtor? Maybe I'll go to a builder directly, especially if they offer a digital sales process such as buy now or reserve now options. And as a kind of a follow-up on that question, do you think builders are starting to say, hey, we have 3% to give you, whether you give it to the realtor or you take it as a down payment or towards options, whatever, however you want to use that money?
Yeah, so I think we do have that number off the top of my head, but in our on our website where the research tab is, that data exists. And if you would like, I can give you a link to that after this.
Perfect.
It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. Having actually been on the sales floor, I saw many in without a realtor, without representation, and start the process. And then a day later or 2 days later, they have a realtor. Their uncle's cousin's sister is a realtor, and they're going to help us through because help with this. And okay, no problem. I got to be honest. Like I said, been on the sales floor myself, having worked in so many different places and watched consumers walk in. I have a hard time imagining right now people going away from using a realtor. I don't think the timing is now. Can I see a future where the use of realtors becomes less and less because you can just make decisions online now and you don't really need a realtor to walk you through that part of it and so forth? Maybe it's down the road, though. It's not right now. And I don't see that in the next 10 to 20 years either, to be honest with you. That's just my personal opinion. I'm no expert. I'm just a guy working here. But I will tell you, I think the ability to be able to go online and to make a decision now and to be able to place your order now without ever even having walked into the house, just gone through a virtual tour, just gone through a 3D tour and decided it's in a location that works for me. I can work with this. And decision now, that is more readily available than it ever has been, and it's going to become more readily available. Does that mean the realtor is going to be up or people are going to go away from it? It's hard to tell. I don't see that in the next 2 years, and that's just my opinion.
Yes, we shall see what happens. It's certainly going to be an interesting development over the next few years as we see those dynamics change with realtor compensation and what buyers choose to do. But I think it certainly is ripe for some changes, especially in new construction area where Although, of course, realtor is always a valuable partner, but maybe it's not as essential versus like where you buying an older house with a lot of other issues that can be coming up with that. So we'll see what happens with that. So Don, as we start to wrap things up today, is there anything that I did not ask you about that you think is important for our listeners to know about any of the topics that we've discussed today?
I really don't think so. I think maybe the only other things I want to talk about are, the exciting things that are happening at realtor.com on our new construction team. We really have some innovative products coming to the market. We have some real game changers that we're working on our product of really moving us forward and putting us in a very exciting place here in the near future. Next month, we're actually going to be meeting with several of our biggest clients in Annapolis, Maryland for our Thrive Builder event. So some of the top marketers and leaders in the building industry across the country will be in Annapolis, Maryland, hanging out with us for a couple of days. We spoil them rotten and say thank you for their business. And as we get their feed from our channel and from our landing pages, what can we do better? We open up the floor to them to help shape what we're doing. As a matter of fact, last year's Thrive, several things came out of that meeting when open floor conversation with them were really allowed to just unload on us and just tell us what they needed from us to help them get more leads, what would be more effective. Actionable items came out of that meeting, things that we were able to put into practice and make happen for them. And we're excited about bringing them in to Annapolis this year, having those same discussions, having them help shape the direction that this channel is going in to get more eyes on their listings, on their product, on their communities, and really bring them qualified leads and change the dynamic a little bit. So we're really, really excited about that.
Absolutely. Don, if somebody wants to learn more about realtor.com, new construction, and all the services you offer, what's the best way to find out more about that?
It's really easy. Go to the realtor.com website. It's so easy. There's a tab to advertise with us. If you're in new construction, that opens up that tab as well. If you reach us, you can do that. And always, you can reach me at don.turner@realtor.com. I am here to help answer any questions from any builder anywhere across the country and get you in front of the right person to help you with any needs you have.
Perfect. And Don, if somebody wants to connect with you personally also, do you hang out on social media? Is there a platform of your choice?
When you got kids, man, you're on social media whether you want to be or not. Yeah, I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. LinkedIn is a really easy way to find me. Just look for Don Turner at realtor.com on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn up all day long. I use it as a form of communication. There's a lot of information sharing that goes on, networking that goes on the LinkedIn channel. It's just a logical way. Just texting and emailing at LinkedIn is just such a great way just to connect network-wise during the day in the middle of a busy, hectic day.
Absolutely. It's my platform of choice as well. So love LinkedIn.
So easy. They make it so easy.
They do make it so easy. I really enjoyed our conversation. Thank you so much for being a guest today. I think a lot of our conversation is going to be very useful in our builder partners so they can actually make some actionable changes to their listings, to the leads, the way they're representing, right? Think interactive. How can you grab that attention as quickly as possible? Put your best foot forward. Don't use outdated, old, frumpy looking stuff, right? Like you only have so much time to get somebody's attention. So really think about what you're putting forward, make it transparent, show pricing, show monthly payment, because that's all going to increase the conversion rate for you. So thank you, Don, for sharing all this great information with us today, and good luck with your upcoming event in Annapolis. And we're excited to see about what new innovations realtor.com is going to come up with next after that event. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Anya, for being such a great host. Thank you to Inigo. We really appreciate what you guys are doing in the marketplace and the innovative things that you're bringing to the market as well. So our pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.